Travis Bazzana kicks things off in the World Baseball Classic in Tokyo. The whole baseball world is watching. We're 2 weeks away from the Guardians spring breakout game. We'll tell you who should be on it. And all the pressure is on the Tigers and the AL Central as we look around the division during spring training. Let's go.
Tanner Bobby of the Guardians, and you're listening to Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Guardians fans? Maybe you're listening to this early in the morning. Maybe you stayed up late to watch the first World Baseball Classic game, and you're listening to this a little bit later. But wherever you are, thank you for tuning in and making Locked On Guardians your first listen today and every day, wherever it is you get podcasts. And we are the only daily Cleveland Guardians podcast that covers your team every day, the majors, the minors, the draft, and everything in between. And I am, of course, Justin Lada, if you are one of our everydayers or insiders. And if you're not, if you're new here, I am Justin Lada, and I have been co-hosting this podcast, my friend and co-host Jeff Ellis, for the last 4 years, who is off today. I've also spent 19 years covering the Guardians minor league system as a prospect writer and editor. Got a fun one for you today as the World Baseball Classic kicks off. So later in today's show, we'll go around the AL Central and tell you what's going on in each camp, the storylines and highlights to watch, and why the pressure is on Detroit. We'll try to predict the spring breakout roster for the Guardians. Could be a little bit interesting with Travis Bazzana playing the World Baseball Classic and which pitcher they're going to use to start the game. Last year, it was an interesting choice as well. But we're starting off today's show with a World Baseball Classic watch guide for all the Guardians fans, all the Clevelanders, and what you should be watching for, what you should be staying up for. This episode of Locked On Guardians brought to you by Only the Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show/LockedOn. Use code Locked On. You're going to get a free pack to use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now, available March 17th on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, rated E for everyone. Stay tuned later in the episode for our MLB Top 100 highlight. All right, let's kick it off with our WBC watch/rooting guide for Guardians fans. You're going to want to, and you're going to have to stay up late, of course, to watch Pool C with Travis Bazzana, and that's going to be your big rooting interest for a Guardians fan. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. I think that the World Baseball Classic could be a potential springboard for Bazzana into 2026. And Australia, I'll tell you, Pool C is very, very tough. You've got, obviously, Japan, which is really tough over there. They're playing Taiwan, Chinese Taipei, as I'm recording right now. Still a 0-0 game in the fifth. You got Korea, who's tough. Czechia is in this pool. They don't have any MLB players. They do have former Guardians prospect catcher Martin Cervenka, who is not working in baseball anymore. Looks like Australia is going to take the lead here as we're talking about this. It was not a Travis Bazzana home run, but Travis Bazzana does have a single and a nice play in second base in this one already. So this game started 10 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Sunday is when you're going to want to set your alarm. If you're someone who goes to church, this won't be a problem for you. You're going to get up a little bit earlier than you normally would. You're going to get up at 6 a.m. Eastern time. I think that's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning Hawaiian time. So stay up late if you're in Hawaii. You've got Travis Bazzana and Team Australia facing off against Team Japan on Sunday, 6 a.m. There's a very good chance that game is going to be pitched by Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the Dodgers. So really good experience for Travis Bazzana there. He's playing in the Tokyo Dome right now. He's playing in front of the biggest crowd he's ever played in his life. It's a high-stakes intensity game. This is why I was saying for weeks this has a chance to be a great development opportunity for Travis Bazzana to play under this pressure. All the eyes are on him. When you talk about Team Australia, everyone's talking about Travis Bazzana. All the intro video packages talking about Australia. Yes, they have other players. They've had some other former MLB players. Yes, Robbie Perkins hit the home run, not Travis Bazzana. But all of the media attention has gone to Bazzana because he is the most recognizable name, and he wants to be that leader for Team Australia. So getting a chance to see him play in high-intensity games against Japan is going to be a lot of fun. They're playing Taiwan right now. March 5th, the day this is aired, they're playing Czechia. You probably don't need to watch that game. It's probably not going to be the best game. I don't know. the one you want to get up for, if you're going to make any sort of sleeping arrangement adjustments, it's going to be Japan, 6 a.m. March 8th. Now, they do play South Korea at 6 a.m. on March 9th. So if you are maybe getting up for work and you want to turn the game on, you can get up a little bit earlier for that, because you'll have gotten up at 6 a.m. on Sunday to watch that game. So your sleep clock will be perfectly adjusted for all that, right? So that's how you can watch Travis Bazzana. Those games, I believe, are all on Fox Sports 1. Bazzana already had a really terrific at bat in this game, off of, I believe the pitcher's name is Yoshi Sue is the pitcher's name. Has some MLB offers, declined them, but he's looked really good so far. Had 3 strikeouts, so really good pitcher. Had a really good 8-pitch at bat where he fouled off a bunch of tough pitches, and he ended up with a 102-mile-an-hour single into right field on the 8th pitch of the at bat. Didn't even swing that hard, so it was really nice to see. So obviously that's the biggest one, right? That Japan game is going to be huge. I think there's a good chance Team Australia advances out of this pool. Now, South Korea is really tough, obviously. Taiwan's no pushover either. We'll see what happens. For Australia to get out of the Pool A or Pool C, they're going to have to win this game against Taiwan that's going on while I'm recording. They're going to have to beat Czechia. That gives them 2 wins. So essentially, if they beat Czechia, that should give them a good chance to advance out of the pool play. Korea is going to be a tough one. Japan's going to be really tough. We'll see what happens. Set your alarm for that one. Let's go over the other pools for your watch guide. As Travis Bazzana is up for a 3rd time while I'm recording this, so I might jump in with a quick Travis Bazzana update. So Pool B, you got Team Italy. Okay. That one you're going to want to watch for is going to be, they're playing Great Britain at 1 o'clock on, that's Sunday, March 6th. Let me go over to, or 8th. Let's go over to today's schedule. I do not believe it. Yeah, Italy's playing the Angels, or I'm sorry, on the 5th. Italy is not playing. Italy will play on the, so they don't get started till the 7th. Wow. Okay. So they've got a little bit before they get things started against Brazil. That's going to be a bracket that shouldn't be too terrible for them. Team Italy's got DeLucia and Matt Festa from the Guardians on it. Great Britain's got a good roster. You know, they got Jazz Chisholm, they got Ozzie Albies, some other guys. So it should be an interesting roster. I think Italy's got a good chance to get out of this. Brazil should be able to be, is beatable. Mexico is a tough team. They almost beat a couple teams last time, so they were upset-minded last time in this tournament. So Mexico could be tough. Obviously, Pool B is where the United States is. United States is getting out of that first round. If they do not get out of the first round, it's a travesty because it's the only round where they're going to have both Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal. So USA should get out of round 1, but I think Italy's got a good chance. So you can see Dylan DeLucia and Matt Festa. That's on Fox at 1 o'clock on Saturday in Houston. Pool A is obviously one you're going to want to pay attention to as well. You've got Bo Naylor catching, Tugboats over there as well. Josh Naylor, if you want to look at a former Guardian. Very good chance they get out of that pool too, because it's also a very favorable pool for them. They have Panama, Colombia, Puerto Rico, and Cuba with them. Panama obviously has Logan Allen, this is a big chance for him too, because he is the leader of Team Panama basically and is leading their pitching staff. Now, you can only throw 55 pitches in pool play. So Logan Allen is going to get that first start for Team Panama. And I believe they're kicking things off with, the schedule is not loading pretty well. Cuba, they're playing Cuba on Friday. So Cuba's always been pretty tough in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if they are tough again. But I think there's a good chance Canada should get out of this one. It's going to be a real tough one over in Pool A. I think Puerto Rico gets out too. I know Puerto Rico's missing a lot of players that they normally would have, but I think they're going to get out. I think Colombia's got Diane Frias as well. But I think Logan Allen will be back in camp pretty quickly. Over in Pool D, you've got the toughest pool. I know some people said Pool C is the toughest. Pool D has Venezuela and Dominican Republic. That's going to be tough for everybody. But Pool D also has Israel, which is where Ryan Prager is pitching, Guardians 2025 draft pick. And Brad Goldberg, Beachwood, Ohio native, Guardians assistant pitching coach, is the pitching coach for Team Israel. They are stuck in a tough pool of Venezuela and the Dominican Republic. So I think Unfortunately, Israel's probably the third best team in that pool. They're probably going home. Nicaragua's over there. The Netherlands is good. Netherlands might be the third best team. It's going to be very tough in Pool D. So your rooting interest, get up early to watch Travis Bazzana when they play Japan on Sunday. Watching Canada because they're going to get out of Pool A, pretty sure. And then Pool B, you got Team Italy. You got a couple Guardians that should have a good chance to get out of Pool B. So that's where you're looking for in World Baseball Classic play as things get underway. Coming up, we're going to talk about the spring breakout roster. We saw rosters get announced about a week from today. I think we'll see them. I'm going to predict who's going to be on the Guardians roster right now and tell you what I would do if I had my way with the Guardians spring breakout roster. That's coming up next. This week's MLB Top 100 highlight is brought to you by MLB The Show 26, the latest in the beloved video game franchise. Each week we're highlighting the stars of MLB's top 100 players list, elite names you'll be controlling and building your teams around, going head-to-head with an MLB The Show. Today, of course, we have to highlight Jose Ramirez, who's ranked 8th in the top 100. And no surprise, right? I think that's a very fair spot for him. You've got, your guys like your Aaron Judges, your Tarek Skubals, that are all up there in that realm. I think in Bobby Witt's above him. Juan Soto came in above Jose Ramirez. I kind of got a beef with that. I think Jose's a more well-rounded player. We know both these guys are future Hall of Famers, but Jose's a better defender, a better runner, all that kind of stuff. So no gripe. Top 8 is still pretty good. If you're a Guardians fan, you want to build around this guy in franchise mode, and MLB The Show, and you can do just that. This week's MLB Top 100 highlight presented by MLB The Show 26. You can play, manage, and build your favorite players and teams. If you love talking baseball, you love playing it even more, visit MLBthe.show/lockdown. Use code lockdown to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now, available on March 17th on PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Baseball the way it should be, rated E for everyone. We're getting closer to the MLB opening day, to the home opener. You can feel it. The World Baseball Classic is underway. There's fresh starts, a lot of expectations. The first crack of the bat. There's nothing like being in the ballpark for all of that. The problem is getting tickets is hard, right? You're looking for a great deal. You're looking for, you want to sit. Maybe you want to wait till the last minute to check out what the weather's going to be early in the season. That's where there's Game Time. The Game Time app gives fans like you the advantage back with constant innovations. How you unlock amazing tickets and experience with just a few taps. Simple to use. You get 100% authentic tickets thanks to the Game Time guarantee, delivered on time at the best price, and all the fees are included. So what you see is what you pay, period. Again, you want to get the best deal. You want to not spend money on the tickets early on. I think the weather is not going to be good. Or if it's an event you really want to be at, this should be a good place to get tickets for the World Baseball Classic if you're around that. 2 taps, you're done. No stress, no hidden fees, great seats in minutes. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKDOWN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Baseball is back, as evidenced by the World Baseball Classic, right? I am chatting right now on Discord in the World Baseball Classic channel for the Locked On Discord. You can join me over there by joining the Everydayer Club and check that out over at LockedOnGuardians.supercast.com. You get a no-ad audio episode of the show every single day, as well as access to that Discord where you can chat with me, all the other Locked On hosts, the World Baseball Classic, the Guardians, whatever sport, whatever show you want to check that out. Check the link in the show notes for more. All right, the spring breakout roster. Now, this is going to be a little different. I think it's going to go some interesting ways. If I had my way, it'd be one way. There'd be a certain set of players I'd want on the spring breakout roster. So I'm going to try to do it both ways. I'm going to try to tell you what I think is going to happen, but I'm also going to try to tell you what I think I wish would happen. I think pitching, as long as things are healthy, as long as everyone's healthy, I don't know the health status of everybody, so it's going to be a little bit harder. I think pitching is going to be really excited for the Guardians in the spring breakout game. Last year, you had Parker Messick start the game. He deserved it. He was great. He was not on the 40-man roster. I also want to point out, too, anybody on the 40-man roster, kind of unlikely to be in it. It's not impossible, but generally not how the Guardians handle this. So that is where things get a little bit tricky in this one. You also got to, again, worry about health too. So last year, like Austin Peterson was in it, was excited to see him. Last year, Josh Hartle was there. Tugboat pitched. I think this year, the guy that's going to start the game, and it, again, depends on health, and it depends on his schedule. The guy that's going to start the game, I think it's going to be Josh Hartle. I think it's most likely it's going to be Josh Hartle. Now, Cal Steven has a case to start the game as well. I think they both could be on the roster as long as they're healthy and on schedule to pitch in that game. So that's two exciting arms, right? Obviously, the two arms I think everyone wants to see on the roster. And for reference, the Guardians had 12 pitchers on the roster a year ago, essentially 7 starters and 5 relievers. Not everyone gets into the game. And you also want to have some, I don't want to say filler, but you want to have some guys that aren't like big name prospects, right? So the two guys I think everybody wants to be on the roster are Joey Oakie and Braylon Doughty. I wouldn't be surprised if those guys are on the roster. It could be one or the other. Doughty has a case to start the game too, but normally the Guardians will let it be an upper level pitcher, not a younger guy. So I don't think Doughty and Oakie will both be in it. I don't think they'll start. I think one could be in it. We'll see. The other guy I think that could be in there is Franklin Gomez, a guy that we haven't really talked about a lot this spring. Obviously, the Guardians got him for international signing money back in January when the Mets were trying to sign some big names in the international class away from the Yankees. So the Guardians benefited there. I think Gomez, as long as he's healthy, should be on the roster. A couple of surprise names you probably aren't thinking about, I think will be on the roster, is Caden Favors, who is a solid, durable arm. I think the Guardians believe in a lot, so I think he'll be on the roster. Jogly Garcia is a guy in the system that's been interesting that I think could be on the roster as well, who might get some run late. He had some good innings last year at Lynchburg, got hurt, so we'll see what the health is. In the bullpen, I think you'll see, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jake Miller. He was on the cusp last year. I could see him in there. He's on the 40. I think Rafe Schlesinger has a argument to be on the roster. He was interesting last year. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Cam Schulke on this roster just because they need some relievers, a different look. He's made a name for himself in spring training with his pitching style, obviously. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them carry him on the roster. And then Sean Matson, extremely, extremely smart kid who pitched for Lake County last year. He made some name for himself too. Really good control artist. I wouldn't be surprised if he is on there for some innings too. There's one more pitcher I would like to see on the roster. I don't think he'll be on the roster, but I would like to see it. Really, I think it would be cool if the Guardians had Daniel Espino on the roster. They're going to be very careful with his innings, obviously, but they could put him on this roster to pitch one inning, which is their plan, one inning every 5 days. I would love to see him start this game just because there is some hype around the spring breakout game now. It's something everybody loves, and him starting that game would be a great, I know he already started a game for the Guardians in spring training, but this would be fun too to bring him back on that. I don't know. He's on the 40-man roster, so it's probably going to be tough. They only had 2 catchers a year ago, and it was Jacob Cozart and Cooper Engel. Both guys were invited to Major League Camp this year, so that throws a wrench into things. Engel's a little bit higher in the pecking order, so I think Cozart still gets the call here, and I think you'll see either Cody Huff, maybe Bennett Thompson, who was at Lake County last year, or Lynchburg, so maybe we'll see him there. Catching will be interesting. The lineup is where I think it gets really fun and interesting. Ralphie Velazquez, first base. He was on the roster last year. He should be on it again this year. No doubt everyone's going to want to see that. I don't have any doubts about that as long as he's healthy. It's second base. Depends on how much Travis Bazzana is playing the World Baseball Classic. Now, this game is until March 19th. The World Baseball Classic will be over right around before then, so I think he'll be back, but it depends on how the Guardians want to handle things. But Bazzana should be in it, right? He's not on the 40. He should be in it. He was on it last year. Shortstop, Angel Hanau could be on it. It's going to be tough. He was on it last year, but he's on the 40-man roster, so those things get handled a little bit differently for the Guardians. Then you have, I think Alex Mooney will be on the roster. I believe he was on it last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on it again at third base. And then the rest of the infield on the backups, you can have Luke Hill and Dean Curley from last year's draft class. I wouldn't be surprised to see them. Welvin Francisco was on the bench a year ago. Didn't have the greatest year, but you got to fill these rosters out. You got to have some versatility. So I wouldn't be surprised if Welvin Francisco is back on the roster. Nolan Schubart, if you need a DH or a first baseman to be on the roster, I could see him being on it. Obviously invested a decent pick in him. And then another infielder that could make it, especially if Hanau is out, is Dory Fernandez, who everybody got excited about in the Arizona Complex League a year ago. and got to Lynchburg. I'm not as high on him, and I also don't buy Arizona complex stats, performances, any of that stuff for the most part. So, but the Guardians, they may value him. So I wouldn't be surprised. We still got to talk about the outfield. We still got to talk about the lineup I want to put together. It should be fun. And then we got to go around the AL Central, talk about some storylines that are going on around spring training in the AL Central and why the pressure is all on the Detroit Tigers this year coming up. It is now tax time for a lot of us. The old way of taxes, that is a lot, to be honest. Trying to book an appointment, that is not the most convenient way to do taxes, right? You don't want to sit in a waiting room with a stack of papers. You don't want to email back and forth, wondering if someone's really going to get your situation. This year, you are getting a major upgrade with Intuit TurboTax because they now have locations in person nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with the real tax expert. Get your documents uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. Just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works for you to get every dollar that you deserve while you get the real-time notifications going about your day. The relief of walking in, meeting a real person, walking out, and your taxes are handled exactly the way you need them done. You're taking the stress out. You don't have to do it yourself. And you're finally talking to a real person who can get this stuff done for you without overcomplicating it. So head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. TurboTax. College basketball is nonstop all year, especially in March. That's where it gets mad, right? Big games, tight spreads in games, momentum swings every single night. You've got early tip-offs. You've got late-night West Coast shootouts. There's always action on the board in college basketball. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Said that right. You can build any college hoops parlay the way you want, mix spreads, totals, player props, and whatever you see the slate playing out. Apply the profit boost, instantly bump up the potential of the payout. Of course, you could also do the World Baseball Classic, where Team USA is actually favored over the Dominican Republic and Japan, believe it or not. Or you can save the profit boost only for college basketball for the MAC tournament, for the NCAA tournament, all coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to want to be involved. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season long. It's your parlay, your style, and now it's got more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Keep up to date with all things Guardians with Locked On Guardians. Hit the bell on YouTube so you never miss an episode. You'll get notified of all the videos we post, whether it's a regular episode, a bonus episode, as I broke down the entire World Baseball Classic with Sully on a Locked On MLB crossover, so you can check that out as well from Wednesday. Auto download on all your favorite audio platforms so you never miss a show as well, no matter where you're going. If you're on a flight, you're driving in your car, don't use your phone while you're in your car, though. Walking your dog, going to the gym, whatever. We're there for you every single day. You know, it hasn't been your week, your day, your month, or even your year. We're there for you. Comment below with a reference on that. All right, let's talk about the outfield. I didn't talk about the outfield before about the spring breakout roster. I think this is actually an easier one to predict. I think Jason Churrio's on the roster for this. Pretty easy. I think Unica Caceres probably makes the roster for sure. Alfonso Rosario's on this roster. The rest, that could be your starting outfield. The rest of it's kind of iffy. There's a couple names that could go this way. I think Aaron Walton might get a shot at this roster. Not real big on Aaron Walton, but obviously the Guardians are, so we'll see there. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Mitchell makes the roster too, just because you need, some backups there that get in the game late. Last year they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outfielders. Petey Halpin, who was on the 40-man roster, was on the roster a year ago for the World Baseball Class, or the spring breakout roster. I'm getting my spring baseball games mixed up here. A 40-man roster guy could be out there, but I doubt it. The guy I really wish would be on the roster is Jace Lavalette. That would be a lot of fun. Have the first round pick, the first chance everybody has a chance to see of him in the spring breakout game. Imagine this lineup. This would be really exciting. Imagine this for the spring breakout game against the Angels. You have Travis Bazzana leading off, Angel Hinaut short hitting second, Ralphie hitting third at first. You could put Alfonso Rosario in cleanup. You can have Jacob Cozart catching hitting fifth. Churrio play center hitting sixth. You can put Jace Lavalette in center or left hitting seventh. You can DH Schubart eighth, Mooney ninth, and then you can at third, and you can give Daniel Espino an inning. How excited would you be to watch that lineup and watch the start of that game. Give your fans something really exciting to look forward to. I'd be all in on that. All right, let's go around. Let me know what you think of the rosters. Let me know who you want to see on the spring breakout roster. Let me know if you think I'm going to be right. Give me your predictions. Let's go around the AL Central to wrap up today's episode. Because the Guardians didn't play on Wednesday. They got an off day for the first time. So what's going on around the AL Central? I'm looking around at the different storylines, who's playing well, who's hurt, what's happening in their camps. So you only have you have two teams over in Florida. You have the Tigers and the Twins, who are both in Florida. The news for Tarek Skubal is he's going to throw 55 pitches. I believe he's scheduled to pitch against Great Britain, and that's going to be his only World Baseball Classic start. So he can only throw 55 pitches. He's going to start that game. Then he's going to go back to Lakeland, Florida. He's going to focus on the 2026 season and obviously wants to stay healthy because he's going into a free agent year. So obviously that is Detroit is trying to play to win now. Tarek Skubal's trying to win and also preserve himself for the future. So something interesting to think about in terms of his mindset being focused on winning this year with his team because it's his last year in Detroit, but also trying to, think about what things look like for him next year in terms of staying healthy and getting the biggest pitching contract in MLB history, depending on what happens with the lockout. Although, I don't know. I don't know if he'll sign before the lockout or not. That's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. The other thing coming from Detroit's camp, Kevin McGonigal, their shortstop, he looks really good. He is hitting the daylights out of the baseball over there. Everybody is excited about him. I don't know if he's going to break camp with the team. He definitely should. He's ready. Not based on spring training, but I think he's just ready in general. So this is interesting. Detroit is they're kind of doing the full scale model of what Cleveland's trying to do and thread the needle and develop and win at the same time. Skubal's in his walk here, so they want to win this year. You're also going to have McGonigal up. Maybe Max Clark at some point this year. He's making some headlines for some interesting reasons I'm not going to get into here. They're on a dual timeline, though. They are trying to win by bringing Verlander back and signing Framber Valdez, and they have Skubal, and they got to bring McGonigal up, and they've got some other young hitters. I think all the pressure is on Detroit this year because they need to win with Skubal. Now, Framber Valdez is a very good pitcher, but he's not Tarek Skubal. So going into 2027, whatever baseball looks like in 2027, they won't have Skubal. They won't be as good. Yes, they'll have McGonigal. They might have Clark. They'll have Valdez. Verlander's old. Reese Olson's hurt. Jackson Joe will be back. Who knows? There's a lot of pressure on Detroit this year to win. Just keep that in mind. Over in Florida and Twins camp, things are a little bit disastrous for the Twins right now. So we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but Pablo Lopez is out for the year with Tommy John surgery. The Twins owe him like $40 million or something, or $50 million over the next 2 seasons. So that's going to get dicey for the Twins, who are already cutting payroll. And now they're committing to a guy who a lot of money for who will miss this year. And then will also be kind of coming back off Tommy John next year. So that's going to be interesting too. They've had a lot of other injuries in their camp too. Bailey Ober's had some injuries in camp. David Festa is out for a couple of weeks. So their rotation is kind of in trouble. Like they've got Simeon Woods Richardson. They've got Joe Ryan, who pulled out of the World Baseball Classic because of his sore back, that shouldn't make him miss any major league time, but he was being, having some caution there. They have Zebby Matthews. They have Taj Bradley, who they traded for, who wasn't all that good last year, but had some peripherals that says he should have been better. I don't know. They don't have any pitching depth. So the fact that Ober and Festa and Ryan have been dinged up this camp and Pablo Lopez is out for the year, that's bad for the Twins. Royce Lewis has had some bumps and bruises in the spring. No shock there. Same as Chase DeLauder. The big one is Walker Jenkins, their top prospect, has a hamstring issue. He only played 82 games in 2024 because of that hamstring issue. And he also missed time last year with the high ankle sprain to start the season. So Walker Jenkins has had a little bit of Chase DeLauder to him as well. That's their top prospect. So the Twins, it's going to be an interesting year. They've had a lot of health problems. Back over in Arizona, we got to look at the Royals and the White Sox. The Royals, well, Jack Caglione is having a great spring. He is hitting the crap out of the ball. His chase rate is really low. He's facing pretty solid competition. So Baseball Reference has this thing called opponent quality score. It's a 7.7 for him. A 10 is MLB. A 1 is, your grocery store cashier. He's at a 7.7, so that's somewhere between AA and AAA, which means he's faced a lot of MLB guys, a lot of high AAA guys. He's hitting the ball hard. He's not chasing out of the zone, which is, usually his big bugaboo. We'll see how that changes in the season, but he is hitting the ball very well this spring. Him and Vinny Pasquantino are both playing in the World Baseball Classic for Team Italy in Pool B. So they'll play USA, they'll play Mexico, they'll play Great Britain, they'll play Brazil. Good chance for those guys to get some high-end competition against the likes of Italy, who I believe has Aaron Nola. So there's that in USA. So some good development coming for at least Jack in the World Baseball Classic, the same way I mentioned with Bazzana. And then Vinny Pasquantino is a lot of fun. I don't like a lot of Royals, but I love me some Vinny Pasquantino. Seth Lugo looks fine in spring training. He was hurt last year a little bit and struggled. Cole Reagans and Chris Bubich have only had one appearance so far in spring, so they're taking it very slow with those guys who were both hurt a year ago, but also obviously very important to the rotation. Noah Cameron and Michael Wacha both look good in spring. At least Wacha does. But those guys are going to be really important for them. Noah Cameron's going to be a big part of the rotation for them. Stephen Kolek is hurt right now for them too, so they also are a little bit thin on pitching depth as well, especially with Reagans and Bubich being built up slowly, and then now Kolek is also down for a little bit. The last team, the White Sox, we don't really got to talk a ton about this one, but their lineup's going to be good. You've got Munetaka Murakami, who's a little bit of an unknown, but a ton of upside, has had a good spring so far. Obviously, he's playing for Team Japan on the World Baseball Classic for right now, but the lineup's going to be interesting. Sam Antonacci, who I really liked at Coastal Carolina, he's having a good spring, could be up this year. There's a lot of hype around Miguel Vargas finally improving this year. I've been high on him before. Hasn't panned out yet, but people think he's going to be a breakout this year. Austin Hayes has been solid so far in camp. He's hit the ball hard. Strikeout rate looks solid. He is chasing a little bit, so we'll see. And a lot of people think Chase Madroith could be a very solid second baseman for them as well. So the lineup for the White Sox could be tough. Their pitching doesn't look like it's ready yet. Hagen Smith and Noah Schultz aren't going to be up till later at earliest. Bullpen's interesting, but the White Sox lineup, they might be pesky to pitch to, so that'll be interesting. So the Royals, if their pitching's healthy, their lineup's going to be good, I think. The Tigers, a lot of pressure on them, but they're a good team. And obviously the Twins, a lot of injuries. And then the White Sox, they could have a tough lineup. All right, let me know who you think you want to see. Who do you want to see in the spring breakout game? Let me know your predictions for the spring breakout game. Let me know if you're watching the World Baseball Classic. Let me know if you're going to set your alarm for 6 a.m. on Sunday. I'm going to. I got some things to do Sunday morning, but I'm going to get up early and watch that game. Thank you all for tuning into Locked On Guardians. Make sure you are subscribing so you get all of the episodes on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Podbean, all those places. We're everywhere. You can take us anywhere you want to go. If you want to listen to some Guardians baseball talk, the Everydayer Club is built for you. If you made it this far into the episode, get Locked On Guardians ad-free, plus the members-only Discord access where we're talking about the World Baseball Classic. We're sharing Guardians news from camp that day. We're talking during the game. You can talk with other hosts. You can talk with other fans of other shows all over there. That's at lockedonguardians.supercast.com. Thank you for tuning in today as well. And check the show out on Friday. Jeff will be back with you. I'm sure he'll talk spring training, Tanner Bivey's pitching, World Baseball Classic. I'm sure he won't talk about that very much. You'll get some draft and college baseball talk as well. So tune into that as well and have a good weekend. Watch some World Baseball Classic baseball. In the meantime, go Guardians, go. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi.